求めたまえ心を開いて真の痛みが明日を招く世界は傷を抱きしめる
Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most unique and haunting animes I've ever experienced. It's called From the New World, or Shinsekai Yori in Japanese. Now let me just say this up front, this anime is not your typical action-packed shonen with wild battles or feel-good slice of life where friends hang out and everything's light-hearted. Nope, this is something else entirely. From the New World is slow, dark, emotional, and thought-provoking. It's the kind of anime that doesn't just entertain you, it stays with you. Even after I finished it, I kept thinking about its worlds, its characters, and its messages for weeks. So in this review, I'm going to break it all down to you. We'll be going over the story setup, the incredible world building, the main characters, the themes, the art and music, and of course, my personal thoughts. Don't worry, I'll keep it spoiler free when it comes to the biggest twist. Because trust me, you want to experience those for yourself. This anime isn't just a show, it's an experience. And today, I'm going to tell you why. Alright, let's get into it. First, the story setup. The story of From a New World is set about 1,000 years in the future. Humanity has changed in a very strange and dangerous way. In this world, almost everyone is born with psychic powers called Cantus. With these powers, people can move objects, create fire, or even destroy things with their minds. At first glance, this sounds incredible, like everyone's a superhero, but in reality, it's a terrifying idea. Because when you give humanity this much power, chaos is always around the corner. Imagine every little argument or emotional outburst could lead to someone unleashing destruction. That's basically what happened in this world's history. Wars, fear, and eventually the near collapse of human civilization. The solution was that society came up with was control, strict control. The story begins on what looks like a peaceful countryside community. People live simple lives, close to nature, in small villages. Our main character, Sake Wantabe, grows up along with her friends, Shun, Satoru, Maria, and Mamoru. At first, it feels like we're watching a group of kids learn about their abilities in school. They laugh, they play games, they compete with each other. Everything seems normal, but you quickly realize something's off. Kids sometimes disappear, teachers and parents act strangely, like they're hiding big secrets, and the adults are constantly testing and observing the children. If someone doesn't pass the right test or show signs of being unstable, they vanish. Nobody talks about it, but you feel that dread every scene. As the story progresses, Saki and her friends begin to uncover the truth. They learn about the dark history in their society, the brutal methods used to keep the peace, and the shocking reality of what happens to those who step out of line. What begins with a coming-of-age story slowly twists into a psychological horror, a survival drama, and a tragedy about humanity itself. The way the story is told is brilliant. It doesn't just dump everything on you all at once. Instead, it slowly reveals the truth, little by little, keeping you curious and uneasy. You as a viewer are piecing things together right alongside the characters. That slow unraveling of mystery is what makes the anime so gripping. Now second, the world building. The world of From the New World is one of the most fascinating aspects of the anime. On the surface, it's gorgeous. You see wide fields, flowing rivers, peaceful forests, and cozy little villages. It looks like a utopia, but beneath that beauty, there's a layer of fear and control that makes it chilling. The key to this society is the psychic power of Cantus. On the one hand, it's a blessing. People use it to farm, to build, and to live comfortably. On the other hand, it's a curse, because one unstable person with Cantus can cause complete destruction. So the society enforces strict rules. Children are trained carefully, tested constantly, and if they fail, they're removed. One of the most interesting parts is how history is handled. The kids are told sanitized versions of the past, but the reality is far darker. 1,000 years ago, when psychics first appeared, humanity nearly destroyed itself. Wars broke out, psychics ruled as tyrants, and normal humans suffered. The world we see in the anime is what survived after all that chaos, a world rebuilt on fear, control, and secrecy. Another fascinating element is the presence of non-human species. Without spoiling too much, I'll just say, humans are not the only intelligent beings in this world, and the relationship between these humans and other species raise big questions about power, slavery, fear, and morality. It makes you think how society treats the other, and it's one of the most strongest parts of the show. What's so chilling about the world building is how believable it feels. Yes, it's a sci-fi, yes, it's set in the future, but the way humans create systems to control, the way they hide ugly truths to maintain peace, that feels real. Now third, the characters. Now let's talk about the characters, because if the world building is the brain of the anime, the characters are its heart. Sake Wantabe. Sake is the main character, and we follow her from childhood to adulthood. She starts off curious, cheerful, and kind, but as the story unfolds, she becomes the one who has to carry the burden of truth. What makes Saki so strong is her humanity. She doubts, she fears, she makes mistakes, but she learns and grows. By the end, she's mature, compassionate, and deeply scarred by what she's been through. Shun Aonuma. Shun is the most mysterious of the group. He's calm, intelligent, and almost too perfect at times, but you can tell something's weighing on him. His story is one of the most emotional in the anime. Without spoiling, let's just say his arc shows the dangers of power and the tragedy of living in a society that values control above all else. Satoru Asahina. At first, Satoru feels like the comic relief. He's fun and a little reckless and always joking around, but over time he becomes one of Saki's strongest allies. His loyalty, courage, and ability to adapt makes him an essential character. He matures in a way that's really satisfying to watch. Maria Akizuki. Maria is warm, caring, and strong-willed. She's one of Saki's closest friends, and their bond is one of the most beautiful parts of the show. Maria's relationship with Mamoru also adds depth in her character, showing both love and sacrifice. Her choices later on in the story have massive consequences. Mamoru Ito. Mamoru is timid, sensitive, and often fearful compared to the others. He struggles the most to deal with their harsh world, but his vulnerability makes him relatable. He represents people who can't fit into society's harsh demands, and his story is heartbreaking. Together, these five form the emotional core of the anime. You watch them laugh as children, face horrors as teenagers, and deal with the consequences as adults. That passage of time makes you feel their growth and their pain that much deeper. What I really love about these characters is how they reflect the stages of growing up. When they're kids, the world seems safe, and their curiosity feels endless. As they grow, their innocence fades, replaced by confusion and fear. And by the end, they're forced to make adult decisions no one should ever face. The anime handles this transition beautifully. Even their relationships feel realistic. There are moments of jealousy, affection, and love that feel natural, not exaggerated or forced. Satoru and Saki's connection, for example, evolves in such a believable way. They don't just fall in love for the sake of plot. It happens through shared trauma and survival. You can also see how each character represents a different reaction to oppression. Shun becomes distant, Maria becomes compassionate, Mamoru retreats into fear, and Satoru pushes forward with bravery. It's like the anime is showing us different sides of how humans cope under a system that controls them. That emotional realism is what makes them unforgettable. What's also impressive is how the anime uses subtle expressions and silence to communicate emotion. There are scenes where Saki doesn't say a word, yet you can feel her guilt and grief through her eyes alone. And while many anime rely on heavy dialogue, this one trusts the viewers to understand through emotion and action. It's mature storytelling at its finest. Even the side characters like the village leaders or the monks add depth to the world. They're not just villains or authority figures, they genuinely believe they're protecting society, even if their actions are cruel. That's what makes them so compelling. They're morally grey, not black and white. Now fourth, the themes and messages. This is where From the New World really shines. It's packed with deep themes that stick with you. First, power and control. When people have godlike abilities, how do you stop society from collapsing? In this world, the answer is strict rules, fear, and manipulation. But that raises the question, is peace really peace if it's built on fear? Second, morality and humanity. The anime constantly asks, what does it mean to be human? Is it compassion? Is it survival? Over and over, people in the story justify cruelty for the greater good, and it makes you reflect, are we really any different in our world? Third, coming of age. This is a coming of age story, but not in a cheerful sense. The characters lose their innocence. They learn that the world is cruel, unfair, and complicated. Growing up in this anime means learning the truth and deciding how to live with it. Finally, fear the unknown. People in this world fear change, they fear differences, and they fear the truth. That fear leads to oppression, violence, and tragedy. And sadly, that mirrors our real world too. Now fifth, art, music, and atmosphere. The visuals in From the New World might not be the flashiest, but they fit perfectly. The calm countryside scenery contrasts with the disturbing secrets of the world. The use of color and light creates mood shifts that hit hard, especially when the story takes darker turns. The soundtrack is haunting, from soft, beautiful melodies to chilling, eerie tones. The music sets the atmosphere. Some scenes won't be nearly as powerful without the score behind them. The atmosphere overall is one of unease. Even in moments that look peaceful, you can feel that something isn't right. That's what keeps you hooked. Now 6. My thoughts and conclusion. So, what do I think of From the New World? Honestly, I think it's a masterpiece. It's not easy to watch, it's slow at times, it's heavy, and it's heartbreaking. But that's what makes it so powerful. This isn't just an anime you watch for fun, it's one that challenges you, makes you think, and leaves you reflecting long after it's over. Would I recommend it? Absolutely, but not to everyone. If you want a non-stop action with light-hearted comedy, this isn't it. But if you love deep psychological stories with mystery, strong characters, and thought-provoking themes, you need to watch this. For me, From the New World is unforgettable. It's chilling, emotional, and meaningful. It makes you question society, morality, and even yourself. And honestly, that's what great anime should do. So yeah, this is my review from the New World. If you've seen it, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Did it hit you as hard as it hit me? And if you haven't seen it, I hope this convinced you to give it a shot. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.